Daf Yomi, Tractate Sanhedrin, page 71. A, top of the page, with the word chayev, is liable for entering the temple while intoxicated. Eno nase ben sorer umore ad shiochal basar v'yeshte yain. Tanu Rabbanan, achal kol machal belo achal basar. Shasa kol mashke v'lo shasa yain. Einu nase ben sorer umore ad shiochal basar v'yeshte yain. Shenemar zolel v'sovea. The Mishnah teaches that the boy does not become a stubborn and rebellious son unless he actually eats meat and drinks wine. The sages taught in a Braita, if he ate any other food, but did not eat meat, or if he drank any other beverage but did not drink wine, he does not become a stubborn and rebellious son unless he actually eats meat and drinks wine. As it is stated, this son of ours is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voices. He is a glutton and a drunkard. And although there is no explicit proof to the matter, there is an allusion to the matter. In another verse, as it is stated, be not among wine drinkers, among gluttonous eaters of meat. Al tihi besove yain bezolele basar lamo. Do not be not among wine drinkers, among gluttonous eaters of meat. Proverbs 23:20. And the verse states, for the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags. Proverbs 23:21. Omer ki sovea v'zolel yivaresh u'kraim talbish numa. Amar b'zera kol Hashem b'beit hamedrash torah nase lo kraim shneimar kraim talbish numa. And the verse states, for the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags. Proverbs 23:21. That is to say, a person who is a glutton and a drunkard and sleeps a lot, due to his excessive eating and drinking, will end up poor and dressed in rags. Rabbi Zera expounds the same verse and says, with regard to anyone who sleeps in the study hall, his Torah shall become tattered, as it is stated, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags. New Mishnah. The Mishnah says, Ganav mishel aviv ve'achal mishus aviv yishel acherim ve'asal mishus acherim yishel acherim ve'asal mishus aviv eino nas ben zeramoicha ad shignov mishel aviv ve'achal mishus acherim. Rabbi Yossi b'Rabbi Yehuda omer ad shignov mishel aviv mishel imoy. If he stole that which belonged to his father and ate on his father's property, or he stole that which belonged to others and ate on the property of others, or he stole that which belonged to others and ate on his father's property, he does not become a stubborn and rebellious son, unless he steals that which belonged to his father and eats it on the property of others. Rabbi Yossi, son of Rabbi Yehuda, says, he does not become a stubborn, rebellious son unless he steals that which belonged to his father and that which belonged to his mother. Okay, that's the Mishnah. Gemara says, Ganav mishel aviv ve'achal b'rsus aviv aval gam nishchiach le'bois. The Gemara explains the reasons for the various halachot taught in the Mishnah. If he stole that which belonged to his father and ate on his father's property, even though this is accessible to him and it is easy for him to steal, he is afraid that his father will see him eating what he has stolen, and therefore he will not be drawn after his action to further evil. משל אחרים ואכל ברשות אחרים. אבל גב דלא יבויס לא שכיח לי. וכל שכם משל אחרים ואכל ברשות אביו. If he stole that which belonged to others and ate on the property of others, even though he is not afraid of them, as they neither know him nor watch over him, his theft is not easily accessible to him, as it is performed on someone else's property, and therefore he will not be drawn to additional sin. And all the more so if he stole that which belonged to others and ate on his father's property, in which case it is not accessible to him, and he is also afraid of his father. Therefore he is not liable unless he steals that which belonged to his father and eats on the property of others, in which case it is easily accessible to him, and he is not afraid, and there is concern that he will be drawn after his action to additional sin. Rabbi Yossi bar Yehuda Omer, Ad sheyikdom shelavi mishel imoy, imo minale, vashe, מה שקנתה אישה קנה אמר רבי יוסי בר חנינא לסעודה המוכנת לאבי ולאמוי. The Mishnah teaches that Rabbi Yossi, son of Yehuda, says that he is not liable as a stubborn and rebellious son unless he steals that which belonged to his father and that which belonged to his mother. The Gemara asks, with regard to his mother, from where does she have independently owned property that her son can steal? The basis for this question is the halacha that anything that a woman acquires is acquired by her husband. Rabbi Yossi, son of Rabbi Chanina, says, in answer to this question, the Mishnah is referring to a case where the boy stole food from a meal that had been prepared for his father and for his mother. In such a case, the husband grants his wife ownership of the food that she will eat over the course of her meal. They're giving less and less possibilities for a Ben Sar more to actually happen. And then, spoiler alert, actually, whatever, it's going to come later on, that basically, at one point, I think the Talmud, either here or somewhere else, says that it never happened and never will happen. And we can see how that's going that way because there's so many specific things it has to be. It seems almost impossible to actually get it. But anyway, Amar Reb Chanan bar Molada, Amar Rav Huna, Ein noch ein Schiech, du warst ein Bezol Yochel, Bezol Yishte, La, Ein Mamid Mei, Suda Becheres Aviv. The Gemara raises a difficulty, but doesn't Rabbi Chanan bar Molada say that Rav Huna says the stubborn rebellious son is not liable unless he purchases inexpensive meat and eats it, and purchases inexpensive wine and drinks it, which indicates that he becomes liable only if he steals money, not if he steals the actual meat and wine. Rather say that the boy stole from money set aside for a meal that was to be prepared for his father and for his mother. Okay. Iboyes ema diakni la acher ve'amar la almenas she'en leba'ali chilshus behem. The Gemara presents another answer to the question posed concerning the opinion of Rabbi Yossi, son of Rabbi Yehuda. If you wish, say instead that another person gave property to the mother and said to her, "This shall be yours, on the condition that your husband shall have no right to eat." In such a case, the woman acquires the property for herself, and her husband does not acquire it. Therefore, it is possible for the son to steal from his mother's property. Okay. New Mishnah. See what time we have here. 9 minutes, not bad. The Mishnah. The Mishnah says, what does the Mishnah say? Ganze. Okay. The Mishnah. Haya aviv roitze v'imay noitze aviv eno roitze v'imay roitze einu nase ben soyer moire ad shifnei roitze Yehuda oimel im lo roitze im rui lo aviv einu nase ben soyer moire. The Mishnah says, Zog the Heilige Mishnah, which means, says the Holy Mishnah, if his father wishes to have him punished, but his mother does not wish that, or if his father does not wish to have him punished, but his mother wishes that, he does not become a stubborn and rebellious son unless they both wish that he be punished. Yehuda says, if his mother was not suited for his father, the two being an inappropriate match, as the Gemara will explain, he does not become a stubborn and rebellious son. Okay, Gemara, the Talmud says, I think take a little bit of a break right now and come back. Zog the Gemara, where were we? Yeah, the Gemara. What's the Gemara? The Gemara says, "My enavoye, ilem chavekhay sois v'chay misas bezdin soif soif avu hanihu, ima nihu nihi." The Gemara asks, what does Rabbi Yehuda mean when he speaks of the mother as being not suited for the father? If we say that due to their union, they are among those who are liable to receive karet, which means excision, spiritual being cut off, in which case the marriage does not take effect. And certainly, if the union puts them in the category of those who are liable to receive one of the types of court-imposed death penalty, in which case the marriage also does not take effect, there is a difficulty. Why should it matter if they are not married? Ultimately, his father is still his father, and his mother is still his mother. And the verses concerning the stubborn and rebellious son can be fulfilled. Ela, rather, Rabbi Yehuda is saying that the boy's mother must be identical to his father in several aspects. Okay, B'shaveh le'aviv kamar Tanya nami hachi. Rabbi Yehuda omer im lo haise imo yishaveh aviv b'kol uv'mare uv'koma eno nase ben soyer moire my time t'amar kara eno shemeh b'kolenu mid kol be'inan shavin mare v'koma nami be'inan shavin. Okay, Rabbi Yehuda says okay. The Gemara comments, okay, basically, we're talking about a case where the mother must be identical to the father, which is also very rare, very hard to. But the Gemara comments, this is also taught in Bright. Yehuda says, if his mother was not identical to his father in voice, appearance, and height, he does not become a stubborn and rebellious son. The Gemara asks, what is the reason for this? As the verse states, he will not obey our voices, kolenu, Deuteronomy 21:20, which indicates that they both have the same voice. I wouldn't think that right away. Our voice means our unified voice. To have the same voice. Kolenu, same voice. And since we require that they be identical in voice, we also require that they be identical in appearance and height. Oh, this is it. This is what I was making reference to before. Kiman Azla Detanya. The Gemara asks, in accordance with whose opinion is that which is taught in Brisa, Ben Sorer umore lo haya velo atid להיות. ולמה נכתב? דרוש וקבל שכר. דרוש וקבל שכר. Let's see here. What's the gematria of that? 1168. Shaked. Kodesh. Drosh, Kabel, and Schar. Okay, come on, Rabbi Yehuda. The Gemara asks, in accordance to whose opinion is okay? Whose opinion? In accordance to whose opinion is that which is taught in Brita? There has never been a stubborn and rebellious son, and there never will be one in the future, as it is impossible to fulfill all the requirements that must be met in order to apply this halacha. And why then was the passage relating to a stubborn and rebellious son written in the Torah? So that you may expound upon new understandings of the Torah and receive reward for your learning. This being an aspect of the Torah that has only theoretical value. In accordance with whose opinion is this? It is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, who requires that the parents have certain identical characteristics, making it virtually impossible to apply the halacha. Ibai Sema Rabbi Shimon he Titania Am Rabbi Shimon he b'bnei she'achal ze tartei mar basar v'shasachasi lo yayin et halki avivi ibo batzi yosel esakho ela lo haya v'lo atid liot למכתב דרוש וקבל שכר. אמר רבי יונתן אני ראיתי וישבתי על קברו. If you wish, say instead the Braita is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Shimon, as it is taught in Braita that Rabbi Shimon says, and it is simply due to the fact that the boy ate a tartamar of meat and drank a half-day log of Italian wine, and his father and his mother shall take him out to stone him. Rather, there has never been a stubborn, rebellious son, and there never will be one in the future. And why then was a passage relating to a stubborn, rebellious son written in the Torah? So that you may expound upon new understandings of the Torah and receive reward for learning. Rabbi Yohanan says, this is not so. I saw one. I was once in a place where a stubborn, rebellious son was condemned to death, and I even sat on his grave after he was executed. Wow. Kiman Azla. So they were administering death penalties in the after the temple? Maybe. Kiman Azla Hadanya Yerinachas Lois or Asilios. Veloma Nichtava, Drosh Kamoskar, Kiman, Rabbi Eliezer. Titania Rabbi Eliezer Omer Kol Ir Sheyesh Ba Afir Muzachas Erinachas. The Gemara raises a similar question. In accordance with whose opinion is that which is taught in Brita? There has never been an idolatrous city, and there never will be one in the future, as it is virtually impossible to fulfill all the requirements that must be met in order to apply this halacha. And why? And why then was this passage relating to idolatrous city written in Torah? So that you may expound upon new understandings of the Torah and receive reward for your learning. In accordance with whose opinion is this? It is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer, as is taught in Brita. Rabbi Eliezer says, any city that has even one mezuzah or any sacred scroll cannot become an idolatrous city. It is difficult to imagine an entire city without even one mezuzah. My time. Amakro. The pasuk says, "Met kol shlatik bots en toch chova v'safta v'eish." וכיוון דאי כמזוזה לא אפשר דכסיב לטסן כן להשם אלוקיכם. אמר רבי יונתן אני ראיתיה וישבתי על דילה. The Gemara asks, what is the reason that a city that has even one mezuzah cannot become an idolatrous city? The Gemara answers, the verse states, and you shall gather up the spoil of it into the midst of the open space of the city, and shall burn it with fire, both the city and the entire plunder taken in it. Deuteronomy 13:17. And since if there is a mezuzah there, it is impossible to burn all the contents of the city, as is written, and you shall overthrow their altars and break their pillars, and burn their asherim with fire. This you shall do. You shall not do so for the Lord your God. Deuteronomy 12:3-4 is derived from this verse. That it is prohibited to destroy a sacred item such as a mezuzah. Therefore, a city that has even one mezuzah, it is impossible to fulfill the halakha of an idolatrous city, and not all of its contents may be burned. Rabbi Yonatan says this is not so. I once saw an idolatrous city that was condemned to destruction, and I even sat on its ruins. Okay. I think what we're holding here, I think we can do it. You know what? Yeah, let's try it. כמה נזלה הדתיים בימי הנגוע לא היה לו איסיליוס בית המנוגה. Okay, ולא נכתב דורש וכל בשכר כמן כרבי אלעזר בן שמעון. נתן רבי אלעזר בן שמעון אומר, לא למן בית סתם עד שיראה שתי גליסים לשני אבונים. שתי כסולים קרן זוביס. The Gemara asks another similar question. In accordance with whose opinions that were cited prior, there has never been a house afflicted with leprosy of the house, and there will never be one in the future. And why then was the passage relating to leprosy of the house written in the Torah? So that you may expound upon understandings of the Torah and receive reward for learning. In accordance with whose opinions this is, in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, has been learned in the Mishnah, Negaim 12:3, that Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, says, a house never becomes impure with leprosy until a mark about the size of two split beans is seen on two stones in two walls that form a corner between them. The mark being about two split beans in length and about one split bean in width. It is difficult to imagine that such a precise situation will ever occur. My time that Shukiras, however, is again is obvious. The Gemara asks, what is the reason for the statement of Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon, that the house does not become impure unless it has a mark? Precisely in the corner, the verse states, and ye shall look upon the leprous mark, and behold, if the leprous mark be in the walls of the house, its greenish and reddish depressions, in which sight are lowered in the wall, Leviticus 14:37. In one part of the verse is written wall, in the other part of the verse is written walls. Which wall is like two walls? You must say it is a corner. Tanya, Rabbi Elazar ben Tzadok, Makam haya betchum Aza, v'haya koren ha'isa yichol v'hasingirata, Amar Rabbi Shimon ish kafarako, Pa'amacha selachni legalil v'raisi makam shibutzayni noso, Amar Avanim yidu goyis pigo sham. It sounded bright. Rabbi Elazar son of Rabbi Tzadok says that there was a place in the area of Gaza, and it was called Leper's Ruin. That is to say, it was a ruin of the house that had been afflicted with leprosy. Apparently, the leprosy of the house has existed. From the village of Akko said, I once went to the Galilee and I saw a place that was being marked off as an impure place. And they said that stones afflicted with leprosy are the case. This too indicates that a house afflicted with leprosy had existed. New Mishnah. Hiya. So we're holding on time. 24, okay. Hiya, mehem gidemo chigero lemo somia ocheresh. Eino nas ben soramoresh never in tough so by avivim like gidmin. Yotzio so by chigero omer by ilmin. Banana zevelo summon Mishnah says, if one of the parents was without hands or lame, or mute or blind or deaf, their son does not become a stubborn and rebellious son. As is stated, then his father and mother shall lay hold of him and shall bring him out to the elders of the city, and to the gate of his place, and they shall say to the elders of the city, this son of ours is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voices. He is a glutton and drunkard. Deuteronomy 21:19 and 20. The sages derive, then shall his father and mother lay hold of him, but not people without hands who cannot do this, and bring him out, but not lame people who cannot walk. And they shall say, but not mutes, this son of ours, but not blind people who cannot point to their son and say this. He will not obey our voices, but not deaf people who cannot hear whether or not he declined to obey them. And after he is brought before the elder city, he is ministered before 3 people, and they flog him for having stolen. If he sins again, he is judged by a court of 23 judges, and he is not stoned unless the first 3 judges before whom he had flogged are present there. As it stated, the son of yours, this is the son who was already flogged before you. Gemara. The Talmud says, Shema mina, Shmat mina v'inin kra minichtiv shani hacham. The Gemara says, the Gemara draws a conclusion from the Mishnah. You can learn from the Mishnah that we require a verse for be fulfilled precisely as is written, a strict conformity with literal sense, and not in looser or more expensive fashion. This Gemara rejects the suggestion. There is no proof from here. Here is different.